What's up YouTube? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky and today's video is about flipping exotic cars versus buy here, pay here. Now this video idea came from a consulting call that I got off earlier today. A gentleman in Los Angeles, California wants to get his dealer's license and start flipping exotic cars. Now for the last year and a half he's saved up about $300,000 and he wants to get into this industry. Now I went over some of the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, flipping cars is fun, you know, you get to deal with a lot of cool people and it's very desired. But then I went over some of the other business options about flipping regular cars and flipping cheap cars, which is buy here, pay here. And halfway through the Zoom conference, he was blown away at the numbers on the lower ends of the vehicle. Now, unfortunately, flipping cheap cars is not very sexy, it's not very cool, so a lot of people stay away from it, but there's actually much more money and much more desire and need for affordable cars than there are exotic cars. Now you can do a little bit of everything and there are different industries and there's different people that are very successful in each demographic. So I'm not trying to deter you from anything. I just thought I would make this video today explaining the same way I explained to him on the pros and the cons and why you can make so much more money with buy here, pay here than flipping exotic cars with just $300,000, because you know, a lot of my friends that do exotic cars here in Vegas, we're talking $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million in inventory per month. And sometimes you have to float $1 mil to $2 mil depending on how your financing goes, because remember, when you sell a car through a bank, you don't always get the money right away. Sometimes it could take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get that check from them, and you always need new inventory. So without further ado, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. About 93% of the people watching this are not. If you can't, smash the like button, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because it helps us find more great viewers like yourself. And follow us on Instagram at automotive.life, and let's get into the video. Okay, we're in front of the whiteboard right now, so we have $300,000 at our disposal to buy some exotic cars. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to split this in half just to show you the difference between exotic cars and then of course the buy here, pay here. All right, there's our line. So with $300,000 on the exotic car end, you could buy 2 cars for about $150K. Now you may be asking yourself, what kind of exotic car can I buy for about $150,000. It could be anything from a Bentley Continental GT to a 430 Ferrari, 458, maybe something a little bit more miles, maybe some rebuilt cars if you want to go that way, but I really don't recommend it. But I would just, for now, we're just going to use some very generic numbers just to make it simple for you guys to understand, because as we go through this, I'm going to use very basic numbers for both examples, just so it kind of touches base. So 150K times that. Now you have 2 cars on your dealership floor, just 2. So imagine having this beautiful showroom with all this space and only having 2 cars on your lot. Now, when it comes to selling exotic cars, it takes about anywhere from a month to 3 months to sell most of these vehicles over $150,000. So if these cars are both priced at $175 or $179, it will take a little while. Now, before you guys get triggered and say, well, my friend makes $30,000 off exotic car sales, or I seen a guy on YouTube do it for X amount of dollars. Now, there are some cases where you will make all the gross or actually get retail for an exotic car. But you have to remember, the people that buy exotic cars are not your regular car buyers. These are extremely smart consumers with a lot of money, good credit, and they will wait for a good deal. So unlike other people, like what we're going to buy here, pay here, where it's more of like a forced situation, this is a luxury they'll afford to wait, and they will lowball you every chance they can. I've bought in cars for $150,000, $180,000, and they come back and try to buy them for cheaper than what I bought them for. So just keep that in mind. So average car sales, like I said, it's between 1 month and 3 months. So we're going to put it at 2 months. So it's going to take you 2 months to sell each of these cars. Now, average profit on some of these Highline cars is about $10,000. So for every 2 months, if you average $20,000 in sales, in profit. Okay, so in the scheme of things, it looks really good. You're like, wow, I sold 2 cars. Took me about a month and a half, 2 months. I got to drive around a bunch of exotic cars and I made $20,000 for my problems. Well, the downfall is you're out $300,000 and you're leveraging it to just get $20,000 in profit. But the biggest problem with this model is you only have 2 cars on your lot. What if you sell both of these cars the first day you open up and it takes you a week or 2 to get paid? Now you gotta wait with an empty showroom for 2 weeks, then you get paid, then you got another 2-3 weeks before you buy another vehicle to ship it down there. So this model is very hard unless you have a lot of capital. If you have $2, $3, $4, $5 million and you could replace these 2 exotic cars that you just sold, great. But like I said, you're only working with $300,000. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna flip it to the buy here, pay here section. Okay, now we're gonna start on the buy here, pay here side. So with your $300,000 investment, if you spend an average of $2,000 per vehicle, which I tell people when you first start out in the buy here, pay here industry, you want to spend between $1,500 and $3,000 buying cheap, affordable vehicles. Now, once you build your portfolio, I strongly recommend you go anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 to get that really big growth through interest, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit. But for this particular example, we're going to go with $2,000 cars. Now, if you spend all $300,000, that's going to give you an access of 150 cars. So now your lot is completely full. You got plenty of left over. And we're going to start with what an average small independent retail store sells. So if it's just you and one other person, not a lot of overhead, not a bunch of salespeople, an average buy here, pay here dealership sells between 25 and 35 cars a month. For this particular example, I'm only going to use the low end, which is 25 cars a month. Now, if we were to sell 25 cars a month with this 150 car limit that we have right now, just for numbers, we will run out of supplies, or excuse me, we'll run out of inventory in just as little as 6 months. So in 6 months, we can sell out of all of this if we just keep our baseline at 25 cars. So it's very important that as you start to see this process go, all the money we make from the down payments and stuff, you got to re-up into the vehicles. So our average selling price for vehicles in this price range, depending on year, make, model, miles, if it's a luxury car, SUV, third row, stuff like that, it's going to go anywhere from $39.95 all the way up to $59.95. Now for this particular example, we're going to go in the middle. We're going to go $49.95. So we're going to put our average sales price of $49.95. Okay, nothing spectacular. Now, most of our customers that we're going to be dealing with are going to have bad credit, maybe short job time, stuff like that. So these are the customers we want to go for. This is something that's affordable that people can get. Now, when you see these numbers, they kind of blow your mind, but like I said, just keep it in stride. This is an actual business model. It's here to help the dealers, and this is why I tell people that buy here, pay here is so much more money. So what we're going to get into now is we're going to actually structure out a deal. So we have $49.95. We have $500 for doc fee. So we're going to add $500 for doc fee, DOC, okay? And then on this combined amount, you're going to have to do the sales tax. The sales tax is exactly $446. $446, okay? Which brings you to a total of $5,941. Now, remember, your average customer is going to bring you anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 down. But for this particular model, I want to go with the lowest rate just to show you guys the growth you can get. So we're going to only use $1,000. So the customer is putting $1,000 down. Now we're going to take that out of our actual amount that we have invested so far. So that's going to bring us down to $4,491. Now, most buy here, pay here is at 29.99%. It's up to you on what you want to put it on. In the scheme of things, it doesn't seem that much on a small dollar amount, but that's why you want to get into the more expensive cars down the road, which I'll get into here in a minute. So the key to this is you never want to go longer than 24 months. So if we ask the customer, hey, how much money do you make? You make $2,500 a month. We're going to structure this for 18 months. Their payment is going to be $344. Seems like a lot, but in the scheme of things, this customer will own this car in 18 months. A lot of the customers are happy with this. You want to minimize your risk with the shorter term. Plus, if you ever want to sell your buy here, pay here in the future, this will help you out immensely. I see way too many dealers put this at like 44 months because they're trying to accrue all the interest and they wind up losing tons of money. With the numbers I'll show you here, there's more than enough money you're going to make. If we do 18 months at $344 a month, they don't make any late payments. The car doesn't get repoed 2-3 times because I'm going to show you guys that you actually make more money off worse customers than you do with good customers. So we're going to show you this is a good customer that comes in every month on time and pays their bills. So after the 18 months, you're going to make a total of $6,192 off of that vehicle. The next number we're going to show you is what you actually make in interest. So off of these payments, the 18 payments of $344, you're going to make a total of $1,251 in interest. Only after 18 months of payments. Now let's go ahead and let's put all the numbers together so this way we can kind of comprehend how much money we're working with, and we're going to take out the actual cost of the vehicle and we're going to find out what our true profit is. So remember, we're into this car, $2,000. Sales tax is actual price we have to pay out of our pocket, so we need to include that in the vehicle. So the total breakdown of what we're actually into the vehicle is $2,446. So let's go ahead and do the math. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the total amount, so $71.92. Now that's the cost of the car, the tax, the interest we made, plus the down payment of the vehicle. We put that all together and that grand total is $7,192. Now we're going to minus our costs. Our costs were $2,000 for the vehicle and $446 for sales tax because we got to pay Uncle Sam. Now if you have sales commission, repairs, whatever else, this is where you take it out of, but we're just going to use some very simple numbers in the beginning. So if we minus that out, you make a total of, TP, which is true profit, you made a total of $4,746. Okay, now if you look at this, it seems a little mind-boggling. It takes you 18 months at $344 a month to make exactly $4,700 on a $2,400 investment. So in the scheme of things, it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but you got to remember, you're selling 25 cars a month. Now, remember, I said that this is the best case scenario. This is the customer actually makes all their payments, does everything on time, and is a good customer. I'm going to add a few more things just to show you that you can actually capitalize on this money, and then we're going to actually build this out for 18 months to see exactly what our true profit is and how much we can actually make off a $300,000 investment. So if we were to do $344 of payments, $18 months, okay? Now, if the customer is a bad customer, they're going to pay late all the time. You can charge anywhere from $25 up to a certain percentage depending on what your state allows. So for these generic numbers, we're just going to use $25. So if worst case scenario, the customer is always late, they're always paying late, you're going to make an additional $450 on top of the loan. Now, let's say your customer just moved into town, has really bad credit, maybe just a current repo, and you don't trust him enough to give him a monthly payment. You can do bi-weekly payments, but this also helps set you up for success. So now it's going to go to our next payment structure, which is $172, times that by 36 months, or 36 bi-weekly payments. Now the late fee in this one is only going to be $20 because it's going to be a lower amount, so we shouldn't charge as much. That is going to give you an extra additional profit if the customer for some reason pays every single payment late, which some do. You're going to make an additional $720 off of this actual loan. Now we're going to go weekly payments. Now, if you have a customer that has extremely bad credit, has multiple repos, you don't really trust them with the vehicle. If you do weekly payments, you get to see the customer every week. You make sure they're making their payments. And if they do try to disappear, you only have to wait for 2 weeks for them to get behind, which is 2 payments, and you can go repo the vehicle. So we're gonna go right here to $86 every week. So if we do this, 86, that's gonna be 72 weekly payments at $82. And let's say the customer's late fee is now $15. Not a whole lot of money, but once again, we have customers of ours that show up every week, always making late payments. That's just the way some of these people are. Some are, good people that just fall behind, which usually we waive them. But then we have the people that ignore us, that forget our phone calls, that are just too lazy to come in. And sometimes that's what the $15 fee is there, is to help motivate them so they don't feel like they're wasting money. But unfortunately, some clients actually just pay the $15 and don't really care. So if we times that by all 72 payments, that's an additional $1,000 and I believe $80 onto your loan amount. This is on top of your initial $4,746 of true profit if these customers were to do the late payments. Now, keep this in mind. With Buy Here, Pay Here, you're going to get a lot of customers that actually will give you $2,000, $3,000 down, and they will never make a payment. They will just not make a payment. You get the car back a month later, you turn around and resell it. But also on the flip side, which also balances it out, you do get the customers that buy your car after 3 months, they do not pay the insurance and they wrap it around a phone pole. So between the losses and the repos you get, it literally balances itself out. But these are some of the things that I'm not even going to put into the matrix, because I can't tell you, I get more cars back with big down payments than anything else, than compared to the people that actually just crash our cars and wrap around it. Because if you're getting $2,000, $3,000 down on a car you're only into $2K, usually from day one or from actually the 3rd, 4th month, it's pure profit after that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put all these numbers together and show you exactly what it equals out to. I'm just gonna clean up the board right now. I just cleaned up the board and I left some important numbers. So remember that, like I said, our average car is about $2,000. With that $300,000, we can buy 150 vehicles. Now these numbers in green are the important ones. We sell, like I said, about 25 cars a month, and we only have a 6-month supply. Okay, so if we sell 25 cars per month as an average, we're gonna make $25,000 back of our money every month, which equals out to about 12.5 extra cars per month that we could buy and put on our dealership floor. This is how you build that snowball and that momentum to grow your portfolio. This is very, very important. So right now for this use, we're just using what we could make out of this $300,000. So remember, we only can sell 25 cars per month for 6 months. So $25,000 times 6 is $150,000. Okay. Now we're going to go to the payments. This is the other important one. It's $344 a month. So if you sell 25 cars per month, you're looking at 25 times 344 is $8,600. So every month you should be making at least $8,600 in payments. And as you start adding more cars, it snowballs insanely fast, and that dollar amount keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which also helps you purchase more inventory for your dealership. Now you have to remember that all of these payments are for 18 months. That is our average, what we built this structure on. So you're getting 18 payments. So I'm going to put, we have 150 cars. So I'm going to write it so this way you guys can see it. So if we put 150 cars times 18 payments is 2,700 total payments you need to collect to show that you are actually out of those vehicles. Now, if we take 2,700 payments and times it by 344, we get, you get a total of $928,000. So let's go ahead and put that on the board, $928,800. That number is insane. That's what shocked my client earlier today when he didn't realize how much money you can make from buy here, pay here. So if we were to add the 150 to the 920, I believe it was, let's just call it roughly, I think it's like I think it's 1,178,000. Now if we put the 178 and change is a great number. If you take out the initial investment, which is $300,000, you're going to leave us with, I believe it was, looking at my notes here real quick, it was a total of $778,000. And let's add another $300 in there. This is technically your true profit. Now, this is if the world is right, if every customer pays this money, which we know in the scheme of things is not true. Most customers, or most, dealerships are going to have a 7 to 10% default rate. So even if you chip away $125,000, you still are making $600 and something thousand off a $300,000 investment. And that's why I strongly believe that buy here, pay here is much, much better than flipping exotic cars. So even if we were to get to the same math, if we gave ourselves 6 months to make the exact same amount, so let's say we put 6 months, we're making 20 grand, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we made 120K. We still can't even buy a third Ferrari at $150,000. We're still chasing that rabbit where you've already cleared probably about $500,000 in payments. So that's the best thing about buy here, pay here. Now I can go much more in the numbers and we can go through all the analytics, but I save a lot of that stuff for my classes and my other conferences because I don't want to bore you guys. But I thought this was really interesting because when I showed him this, his mind exploded and he just laughed because his father is a CPA. And when he found out about these numbers, he shared it with his father and brought him into the room and he started laughing. He's like, how is this legal? How can you guys do this? And it's like, that's the thing about being your own bank is you can charge the interest you want. You can approve the people you want. You can repo the car as many times as you want. You can do pretty much anything. And this works with everything. And you got to remember, these are cheap cars. When I was talking about building your portfolio to the $5,000 to $8,000 cars, your numbers are going to expand extremely because now you're financing $8,000 to $14,000 at anywhere from 18 to 29% interest. So these numbers are nothing compared to those numbers. And there's dealerships all across the United States. Some of them are probably watching right now, and they'll tell you that this is how they build their business model. So when you hear people like, why do you need banks? I don't need banks. When you hear them say that, it's because they do this. They don't see the benefit in getting a bank and giving up all the money when they keep it themselves. Now, the good thing is if you build your portfolio right and you do the numbers the way it is here, and let's say 6 months down the road, you're doing really, really well. Like if this gentleman follows this game plan and he finds a piece of property he wants to buy and he needs $800,000, if his portfolio is worth, $1,178,000, he'll be able to sell that for about 70 to 80 cents on the dollar, depending on how good the payments are. And he can get his money today. He doesn't have to wait 18 months. So that's one of the great things about buy here, pay here. Even though this snowball is designed to keep making you money in the future, you can liquidate this at any time. And that's one of the things that I personally do. If you have buy here, pay here portfolio and you want to sell it, please give me a call. My email's down below. I'll send you my information as well. We can go over how we can structure a portfolio. And also a little fun fact for some of you guys still watching this, if the numbers haven't completely bored you, is that we actually bundle paper like this and we sell it on the stock market into different hedge fund companies. They bundle this paper together and put it as low risk, high risk, just like how they bundle mortgages. So This is very, very important, and there's a lot of money to be made. So when we do buy here, pay here, we have a lot of banks that give us money to do buy here, pay here. We also have hedge fund investment firms that actually give us money to do buy here, pay here as well. So if you're looking at getting into this industry, do this. Now, once you start making this money, please go back to the exotic cars, because don't get me wrong, everybody loves driving Highline cars. I mean, every time we buy an exotic car at the auction, we get to drive around for a month or so and then sell it and make, $10, $15, $20,000. It's a true blessing. But at the same point, you need this capital, this steady income coming in every month, because you can sell these cars once in a blue moon. These cheap cars, I'm telling you, you're going to run out of cars before you run out of actual clients, because there's a lot of people that need these cheap, affordable vehicles, especially now. A lot of the banks are not approving people. So I have a great example. We have a gentleman that's worked in the casino industry here for 18 years. This guy has been in management for 18 years at the Mirage Casino. And for some reason, the banks now, if you have any gap in job employment, they automatically deny you. So this gentleman's been out of work for about 4 months because of the whole, 2020 Rona. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get demonetized. But basically, he put that out. And so now, no banks will approve him. He has nowhere to go. If I had more money for buy here, pay here, because unfortunately he wanted a $20,000 car, I couldn't give it to him, but I know he'll pay it. So if I would have carried him in-house, that would have been extra money for me, and then I could have sold it down the road. But right now, I like to keep my risk minimal. We do cars under $8,000, buy here, pay here, until we get our next bump in money. But that's one of the things that you guys can build to help grow your infrastructure and to grow your cash flow. Thank you guys for watching the video so much. I know it's a lot of boring numbers, but I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys. If you have any questions, please message me below in the comments. I personally answer every single question. None of my staff, just myself. Once again, if you feel like you learned something, please click the like button. Also click the notification bell and subscribe bell. We post great content like this weekly. We're going to be bumping up our schedule. We're going to be doing 2 posts a week once we hit into 2021. We do have online classes. Check those out down below. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.